Good morning. I'm Walter Benzinger, the chair of the Windsor Port Authority. I welcome all of you who, due to this ongoing pandemic restrictions, have joined us for this virtual session for a second year. Like you, I look forward to 2022 when we all anticipate life returning to normal and in-person gatherings become the new normal. It is my honor as chair to open the 21st annual general meeting of the Windsor Port Authority Board to report on the board's financials, activities, and accomplishments during calendar year 2020. I want to recognize and thank each of my colleagues on the board of directors for their continued confidence and ongoing support. Anthony Mascaro, our City of Windsor direct appointee since 2015 and our vice chair. Our newly appointed director from the province of Ontario, welcome Sophie Chisholm. And our current federal appointees, as recommended by our customers, the port users, Tom Porter, director since 2015, Karen Behune-Plunkett, director since 2018 and chair of the Governance Policy and Bylaw Committee, Tom Porter, chair of the Audit, Risk and Finance Committee, also a director since 2018, Tom O'Brien. Thank you to the entire board of directors. I also want to take a minute to recognize and thank two directors who left our board this past year. Barry Fowler, our Province of Ontario appointee and past chair of our Audit and Finance Committee. Barry served the board for 2 terms since 2013. And Bianca DeLuca, who served for 3 terms since 2011 as a user representative for a total of 9 years. Bianca chaired our Governance, Policy, and Bylaw Committee for many years. On behalf of the board, I am deeply appreciated for all of your contributions to the success of the board, the vibrancy of our marine economy, and the health of our community that we all serve. We wish you good health. The year 2020 marked the 21st year of the Windsor Port Authority operating under the Canadian Marine Act. It is successor of the Windsor Harbour Commission and continues a history of vibrant commercial marine activity on the shores of the Detroit River dating back more than 10,000 years with the first Indigenous people. I would like to acknowledge that the Port Windsor operates on the traditional grounds and waters of several First Nation bands, and we are committed to maintaining a respectful and mutual beneficial relationship. At our meeting of May 23rd of this year, I am pleased to confirm that the board has reappointed the firm Grant Thornton LLP as the auditors for the Windsor Port Authority for 2021 fiscal year. The financial statements for 2020 have been posted and made available in accordance with the Act. And representatives of Grant Thornton are present today to answer questions following our opening comments. Alternatively, feel free to email your questions of Grant Thornton to wpa@portwindsor.com. Again, wpa@portwindsor.com for a response following this meeting. The year 2020 also marked a most challenging year, not only in the history of the port in Windsor, but for Canada and the entire global economy. COVID-19 came with very little warning and its impacts were immediate. The impacts across the economy were brutal and unprecedented. The impacts in our community and our families were worse. Too many families experienced sudden unemployment and uncertain futures, resulting in fear and mental distress. Sadly, too many families were struck by illness and the lethal claim of COVID without warning or opportunity to say goodbye. Too many of us felt alone and unsure of what to do next. Here at Port Windsor, we knew what we had to do. The port industry is essential for the movement of goods and products, and so were port workers. Port Windsor never closed for a single day throughout. Port workers continued to fuel the ships that kept sailing, mine salt for winter roads, crush seed to manufacture vegetable oil for cooking and food products, and delivered aggregates and concrete to support the construction of the infrastructure that is so vital to our future, and bring in the aluminum and steel to ensure that we remain a manufacturing powerhouse. The seafarers of these ships, the workers in our terminal, the staff at Port Windsor keep us open and operating. These too have been community heroes throughout this pandemic. We also never lost sight of our vision to connect Windsor, Essex to the world and our mission to create an international integrated transportation hub. Our strategic plan focuses on opportunities for sustainable economic growth, environmental and community-based prosperity, effective stakeholder relationships, and partnerships within the Windsor-Essex region. Success always begins with effective leadership, and as such, our plan also includes a commitment to excellence in governance. Out of the gate, under this new plan, Port Windsor has a new identity, a new look, and a new presence in our community, and a renewed focus on economic growth and development. But while we continue to make progress on economic growth and development, we never lost focus of our essential role of community contributions. The Port Authority maintained our commitment to community through several initiatives, such as the donation of 55 iPads to the Windsor Regional Hospital COVID unit with our partners at Sterling Fuels, T2B, and MNSI. We thought it important to bring back smiles to our community through the donation of 100 dozen smile cookies in support of the John McGivney Center and We Care for Kids. The Port also donated 850 pairs of winter socks for the homeless to the Downtown Mission and Salvation Army, which represents one pair donated in honor of each of our heroes, the 850 women and men who work each day in Port Windsor. Our staff also spent the day with the United Way, handing out food boxes to the community, donated by the Port to assist families struggling with job losses during COVID. In the upcoming year, Port Windsor is committed to be the presenting sponsor of the opening ceremonies at the Festival Plaza on the waterfront for the 2022 North American Can-Am Police and Fire Games, to be held for the first time in Windsor. We invite you to mark your calendars to join us for this community celebration on July 16th, 2022. As a board, we recognize that strategic plans must not only continue to promote economic development, they must also include environmental sustainability within operations. That's why in 2013, this board chose to forego the economic opportunity of a 26-acre deep water port land at Ojibwe Shores for the greater of environmental benefits and the community good. Let me be clear, this board has an unqualified commitment to find a solution with our partners at the City of Windsor to secure Ojibwe Shores property as a permanent natural heritage site for generations to come. We share the community's desire to see an end to this process and look forward to an announcement soon. Port Windsor's future success will be a direct result of the past and current actions of the talented staff and directors of the board. I'm proud of the work that we have accomplished, and like everyone, I look forward to 2022, a year of even greater success at Port Windsor. Our work is to ensure that prosperity flows for the Windsor-Essex region. We will, on behalf of our customers, our port users, the Windsor-Essex community, and all Canadians, continue to ensure that our national port contributes to the economic vitality and growth of our region and Canada. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Steve Salmons, and I am the President and CEO of the Windsor Port Authority. The year 2020 and into 2021 will go down into the history books for its infamy as the world's first pandemic in a century. It reminds us all of how globally interconnected we all are in trade, in travel, business, and in family. Port Windsor's vision is to connect Windsor-Essex to the world. Well, this year, the world came to us, but not in the most anticipated manner. I extend my appreciation and recognition of everyone at Port Windsor, all 850 people who come to work at our terminals and operations each day. They did not necessarily get the opportunity or choice to stay home. Essential goods and essential services still had to be available to our community and to the world. Essentially, as in essential, as in working people essential to our economy and our way of life, in addition to our courageous and brave frontline emergency and healthcare workers who maintained our front lines against the COVID fight throughout this pandemic. Like our chair, I too believe that port workers were also on the front lines throughout. They too are community heroes in my books. A sincere expression of appreciation and gratitude to each of you for continuing to ensure that Port Windsor remains connected to that ensures that Windsor Essex remains connected to the world. We all have a role to defeat COVID through vaccination. Our daily lives, our economy, our return to normalcy depends upon each of us getting fully vaccinated at first opportunity. I encourage all of you at the soonest available opportunity to meet our public health targets, to get vaccinated so life returns to normal for all of us. Port Windsor, like all ports across Canada and the globe, persevered through 2020 to deliver surprisingly good results, despite the challenges of a global economic slowdown. We began the year in a new relationship with the Windsor Yacht Club, who assumed operations of our East End Marina. The Yacht Club has brought a new expertise and level of service to our recreational boaters and provides the port with a predictable, stable revenue stream. In 2021, we will be looking at significant infrastructure improvements to the marina to replace sections of the failing seawall and to prepare for rising lake levels because of climate change. On that point, and during a year of record lake levels in 2020, the port initiated two major studies: risk management and climate resiliency. Through a federal TERRA grant, the port has initiated a comprehensive review of its shoreline infrastructure and modeled the potential and likely impacts of climate change. The goal is to build climate resiliency, to ensure the continuity of port operations over the next 50 years in the face of rising lake levels and more frequent and more intense storm events. Likewise, with the goal of the creation of an asset management plan and a risk reduction strategy, the port initiated a second comprehensive study to identify risks and threats to continuity of operations. In 2021, the port will develop a strategy to consider and implement a multi-year program in response to both these studies. With installation completed in 2020, the port now has several live cameras on its waterfront to track vessels and objects in our harbor using infrared technology, day and night. Working with local law enforcement, this technology is used to ensure the safety and security of our port and the community. These cameras and installations were funded through a federal PEMSA grant. While volumes were down slightly in 2020 due to construction and manufacturing slowdowns last March and April of 2020, the port rebounded to gather steam throughout the summer and fall. In fact, as 2020 progressed, we saw record monthly volumes for grain shipments. Aggregate demand was also at a record pace by year end, and so did salt, also finished strong by December. We finished the year with a stronger balance sheet on December 31st, 2020, and still with no debt. For the third year in a row, total expenses were also reduced from the prior year. But unfortunately, that is where the good news ends. Given the pandemic, revenue from operations was not unexpectedly down by a modest amount from 2019. However, the real issue is that this level of revenue has become a constant in the last decade, pandemic or not. In fact, the port has lost money 2 of the last 5 years from its operations. Net income is in surplus only because of its chronic dependence on investment income to offset operational deficiencies year after year. While Canada-wide 2020 port statistics are not yet available, in 2019, the Port of Windsor was dead last in revenues per ton, last in operating income per ton, and in the bottom of the pack for both year-over-year revenue growth and 5-year revenue growth. Our 5-year performance and the national statistics that illustrate this can only bring us to one conclusion. Port Windsor is simply not pulling its weight to build wealth and prosperity for its community and Canada. Reliance on investment income to ensure that we exceed a break-even position in operations is not a sustainable model. The port will be reviewing this question of long-term financial stability and sustainability as a key component of its strategic plan. I want to inform you that the strategic plan has already identified this problem and has set out several goals and objectives to correct our course and steer our ship in a new direction. The strategic plan also includes several actions that will improve our business development capacity, enhance promotion of the port, and relentlessly advocate for the advantages of green marine transportation on Highway H2O. Consequently, our current fee structure at Port Windsor must also change. But the lowest fee port in Canada, by a factor of 1/2 to 2/3 less than any other port, is not a sustainable business case when business volumes are not growing in response to what is supposedly a competitive price advantage. We will be consulting with our customers over 2021 to develop a go-forward strategy that ensures not only a fair and reasonable fee schedule, but also working to ensure we maintain a competitive, growing operation at each of our terminals. A complete financial report is provided in the 2020 audited statements and is available at the port's website or by request at our office at 3190 Sandwich Street. In conclusion, I would like to thank the board for its continued support, its confidence, and its commitment to ensuring long-term sustainability at Port Windsor. I also want to recognize the small team here at the Sandwich office of Port Windsor. Liz Demena, our executive assistant, Patricia Leblanc-Yeager, our Director of Finance and Administration, Peter Barry, our Harbor Master and Director of Operations. Small but mighty and dedicated and tireless and talented. These folks too have never given up since the pandemic began. I thank each of them from the bottom of my heart and for their endless commitment to our success and the prosperity of Port Windsor. I will now ask our chair to take place back in front of the camera, and we will be open for questions. And for those questions that don't come through verbally, please submit them in writing and we'll be happy to respond to you.
I thank everybody for joining us this morning and look forward to continuing success in the future and seeing you in a non-virtual way. Thank you, and I close our 2021 annual general meeting.